the altcoin rally is always going to be concentrated to the set of this, maybe like this 3 to 4,000 or 3 to 6,000 tokens. And we could probably see in the next altcoin rally, which is inevitable. Like I said, it is just that AI happens to be sexier right now, which is why that money is not flowing in. We could probably see a nice shuffle of the top 250 page of CMC as well. And new entrants will come in, old entrants will go out. Because people, I kind of feel something that they've learned from this cycle, and Hyperliquid has been probably the pallbearer of it.
Yeah.
You need to produce value. You need to produce value.
Absolutely.
रिश्ते में तो हम तुम्हारे बाप होते हैं.
It's a race to call the bottom. सब लगे हुए हैं सीटी पे कि कौन बॉटम पहले कॉल करेगा. एक से बढ़ के एक. ये बॉटम है नहीं, ये बॉटम है नहीं, ये बॉटम है. देख रहे हो कि नहीं तुम लोग?
फिर वो भी डालते हैं लोग, बुकमार्क दिस ट्वीट.
कितने bookmark? Yes, bookmark this tweet. मैं एक tweet James Wynn की देख रहा था, where he's like, you know, timing is everything. Look at when I called 88 to 90K. तो जून में कोई उसने ट्वीट डाली हुई थी. तो उस ट्वीट के बाद he lost like 8 to 10 million dollars when BTC went. And today he's going back to the tweet that he made in June. Okay, look at this. I said BTC is gonna go.
Selective memory.
Yeah.
I think these CT KOLs are they have to be like really dysfunctional people to be able to do this day in and day out, like survive on giving out wrong information.
Not just survive कि मतलब कि इतने लोगों के पैसे उन्होंने लुटा दिए हैं, इतने लोगों के पैसे लुटा दिए हैं, उसके बाद भी उनको शर्म नहीं आती. जब मार्केट गिरती है, जब बोल रहे होते हैं बाय बाय बाय, और फिर उसके बाद मार्केट गिरती है तो बोलते हैं कि ओ डोंट क्या बोलते हैं कि ब्रिंग अदर पीपल डाउन, और लॉट ऑफ योर मेट्स ओवर हियर हैव लॉस्ट मनी, यू नो डोंट रब इट इन. इन लोगों को मत फॉलो. हाँ, कि इन लोगों को मत फॉलो करो जो पीपल हु आर रबिंग इट इन. साले पूरे साल भर से लोगों के तुमने बैंक अकाउंट खाली करवा दिए.
Bro, and मैंने देखे normal लोग, like, you know, people who don't really follow what's happening in crypto, उनके लिए source of information is just these CT KOLs, right? They just come and I've seen the normal population talking to me, yeah, have you heard this guy? So about like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I remember this dude that came to me and he's like, yeah, there is this token, I don't know क्या नाम.
Yeah, कहाँ चले गए?
अरे token disclose करते, like you got taken down by KOLs.
Yeah,
maybe they reported him.
The DEX token.
Yeah.
And it was, and the guy was like, this token is gonna go to like $2 or $3 easy. And I was like, why? And he's some Revo token, right? I don't remember the name. So I was like, why? He's like, because they're partnering with NVIDIA and this and that. And he sent me a tweet of some KOL, right? He was like a C category KOL and he was hyping this token up. So I went and I checked just for the curiosity of it, you know, I'll see what this token is doing. तो जाके देखा मैंने सबसे पहले तो जाके डेस्क स्क्रीनर पे उसका वॉल्यूम देखा, मार्केट कैप देखा, and I looked at the chart and I'm like, bro, this token is like a pump and dump scheme for sure, but I think it's more of a dump, not even pump. तो फिर मैंने bubble maps खोले, देखा तो so they were like completely clustered, right? The entire token supply was clustered within a couple of addresses. तो मैंने फिर जाके ट्विटर पढ़ा कि यार ये अच्छा, maybe there is some news about NVIDIA. So there was a tweet from the protocol that said that they had done some AI training or some sort of thing from NVIDIA.
I thought they bought a laptop with NVIDIA GPU.
Yeah, oh, dude. Yeah, I was like, what the hell? I'm like,
ये वो vanity type की partnership है.
I swear to God, right? And that is how these KOLs end up, you know, making gullible people like this losing so much more money. You know?
Yeah.
True. चलो, पॉडकास्ट नंबर 18, प्लीज लाइक शेयर सब्सक्राइब. बहुत सारे लोग देख रहे हैं पर सब्सक्राइब नहीं कर रहे हैं, सो गाइस प्लीज सब्सक्राइब एंड लेट्स सी व्हाट्स ऑन सीटी टुडे. लेट मी शेयर माय स्क्रीन. नरकुंडी. ओके, विंडो, यस, शेयर. ऑलराइट. या तो सबसे पहले एनवीडिया अर्निंग्स है आज, ये tomorrow बोल रहा है, but I think this is or is it tomorrow?
No, it's tonight.
It's tonight, right? So the NVIDIA
Yeah.
earnings tonight, 55 billion in quarterly profit is expected. And what do you guys think? Will they beat it? Because Polymarket is giving them a 93% chance that they might beat this. But
Who knows?
who knows,
No,
right?
no. Yeah. I mean, this is something that you can't really predict, honestly
This
speaking.
is like, what is the price of BTC going to be tomorrow?
Yeah, but, why this is a thing? Because like a lot of people have been sort of offloading their Nvidia stocks recently, right? So I think uski wajah
Yeah,
se
but
this is like gaining a
that
lot of
doesn't
hype.
mean, that doesn't mean that the earnings will that will reflect the earnings that have happened in the last quarter. It makes no sense just because people are
No,
offloading. Yeah.
it makes no sense. But जुआरी के लिए तो जुआ है ना कि they
Yeah.
समझ रहा है
Yeah,
तू?
like even if it
Speculation,
reaches
yes.
like
Speculation है, right?
54.9 billion, but it doesn't beat the 55 billion, like, oh, what a disappointment, you know.
Yeah,
Might
the
have
person
come
who,
forward.
and the person who will be commenting on this will be a person who
Not
doesn't even
working
make
hard enough.
$24 an hour, right? And he'll be
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, for sure.
सिर्फ $24 million
What is
all I
Jensen
know."
Huang doing?
Yeah. चलो भाई BlackRock is obviously पूरे week से थोड़ी selling चल रही है. So BlackRock has deposited another 600 million worth of BTC and 200 million
Drop in the
worth of
ocean.
ETH.
So,
Yeah, I mean,
It's the clients. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
clients moving
it's
in and
not
out. I
BlackRock
think,
itself, right? Just like clients changing
yeah,
hands
it's the
type.
subscribers
yeah.
of BTC.
Yesterday,
So,
yesterday I saw that somebody had tweeted that yesterday alone, BlackRock clients sold somewhere about 560 million worth of BTC.
got it.
Yeah,
But you know what I see is the selling is very smart. If you see the timing of the selling when BlackRock really sort of sells these to the BTC for their clients, so they waited the whole day for BTC to sort of gain momentum all the way till 92, 93, 94, right? And I think it wasn't until late hours yesterday when they started selling, and you could actually see the dip that formed all the way to back to 90k, 89k something. So that's something interesting to see, that they're not just dumping right away. They wait for the market to move slightly up, and then they sort of push it down again, trying to maintain that floor of 88, 89, 90k.
yeah, but I don't know, like abhi obviously numbers ज़्यादा हैं, but in the past when I've seen BlackRock like selling or buying all these ETF inflows outflows, it doesn't really affect the market that much because
Yeah,
BTC
these
की
things don't do.
Yeah, for
volume
sure.
कितनी है
These things
BTC
don't.
पे daily volume? Like I'm guessing कि it'll be in billions, right? Like 10,
Yeah, for
20
sure.
billion तो होगी. So
So,
I mean,
but you also have
yeah.
to see that at the time that they are selling or buying also matters, right? If there are not enough buyers at that point in time, if the volume is morely focused on sell at that point in time, then yes, it does. I mean, a sell order like 500 million could potentially do make
Yeah,
a
I mean,
dent in the price.
especially if they do it on the
Exactly.
weekend पे करें with low liquidity days पे.
I
Normal
don't think
days
that
पे, I
matters.
think,
I think on low liquidity days when things are anyway selling off, like I said, there is a candle, you find a news for it, right? It's not necessarily that it's probably caused because of that. Just because they moved everything to maybe an exchange account to sell, these people
Yeah,
usually
the
twop sell,
news
right?
itself causes that effect.
They
Yeah.
twop sell
yeah,
it. They twop sell it, and
Moral
that twop
sentiment.
sell happens over a very, very long time. So, and looking at this news, the people who would react are weak hands. The strong hands
yeah,
don't give a shit about this news.
yes,
And the
Yeah.
weak hands
Yeah.
don't
True.
cause any price momentum. So by
yeah,
this logic, like for example, a Bitmine, right? Tom Lee has bought roughly 5% of all of Ethereum supply, right? Of circulating supply. Has
He
that
bought today
moved the
also.
price of has that moved the price of ETH? The answer is no.
no,
Right. So I think these knee-jerk reactions are usually caused by something else. This is just regular trading activity, and people are just assigning news elements to it. I think
yeah,
people should ignore it. Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah.
Bitcoin daily trading volume is 72 billion. So
yeah, it's 72 billion.
500
The
million
Exactly.
from that is,
drop in the ocean, right?
Drop in the
yeah, it's
ocean,
less
like
than
these
a
things don't
percent.
matter.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
तो चलो,
what Tony is saying, that of course definitely it's going to cause a blip, but that's
yeah,
only if it's sold in a clip sell. I mean, who
yeah,
would
Yeah.
sell $500 in a single candle? They'd be stupid enough
You
to do
don't.
so.
You don't.
So
And that's exactly what you see. You see that they don't sell it in a single client. It's sold over a
yeah,
couple of
why would
hours.
they?
Yeah.
yeah.
Correct.
चलो,
Hours bhi nahi. I think it's sold over a couple of days. They
got
drop
it.
sell it effectively. Yeah.
Narkundi ka dost Andrew Tate has been fully liquidated.
lookalike.
Yeah, like your best
This
friend.
guy is another. This guy is
Your
another
twin
joker,
brother.
man.
Your twin brother. He's been fully
Top G
liquidated.
moment
He's
for
out
me.
of the market now. I'm
Thank
sure.
God.
Yeah.
Toxic moron.
Chalo, Japan's government bond yields continue to sort of go
Continue to
up.
surge up. Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
highest level in
3.8
history.
now.
3.697.
3.69.
Seven. So yeah, it's going up. Obviously expected. कल हमने इस पे बात करी ही है. So किसी को अगर ये इसके बारे में समझना, they can go to our last podcast and see podcast number 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting. Fear and greed index की बात कर रहे थे. So this has been now the longest extreme fear streak since FTX collapse.
Yeah.
I mean, very interesting. And
Oh.
this is what we discussed was like a forward leading indicator. क्या बोलते हैं उसको? Forward leading
This I
indicator.
feel is a real-time indicator.
Real-time
Except everything
indicator.
which is, except
Lagging.
everything that's probably a lagging indicator. As in lagging in the sense it's already happened in the past 20 candles and it's reflecting in the current take. This I feel is what's happening right now. Again, none of this is a reflection of what's going to happen tomorrow. Nothing can predict that. But this is what's happening in the market currently. So a major component in the fear and greed index is alt BTC pairs, which is why I was saying that even though BTC dominance is not rising, and we're not probably seeing alt BTC pairs go down in hordes, but out of the top 100 CMC tokens, if you look at them, majority of them are still bleeding against the BTC. Or actually, things have changed in the last 2 days. Most of them are actually stabilizing. I think BTC was showcasing, an interesting sort of move. But nevertheless, I kind of feel that this shows a real reflection of what's happening right now.
Got it. Hyperliquid is now going after like maximum market share. They're slashing fees by 90%. Now, obviously, इनके competition में Binance है, Flying Tulip आ रहा है. Flying Tulip raised like $1 billion, right? कितना?
Did they, or were they talking about raising it? Who give them $1 billion? Why would somebody?
I'm not sure. At this point, anything coming from Sonic is just like
it's crap. You don't want to go into it. Yeah.
Or
like imagine if somebody would come to us and say that, you know what, I have $1 billion, please invest it. I think we'd probably start swap buying BTC and ETH with it, right? I think, or what I would do, I'd probably just simply swap buy ETH with it, because I am in for an ETH super cycle. That's my point of view. But why would I give money to Flying Tulip? I think that's the.
I mean, at this point, Andre Cronje has pretty much lost all his credibility, right?
Yeah, that he has.
जितना पिछले like ये cycle के start में when Sonic आ रहा था, and he was क्या बोलते transitioning to Sonic, Andre Cronje, even Sonic के पूरी chain पे बहुत hype आ रहा था. Like I mean, even we were like pretty bullish on Sonic. They were getting adoption. There were a lot of protocols building on them. Things were looking good, but then they just, I don't know, I fucked it up, I guess. कि पता नहीं क्या क्या उन्होंने.
I think it took like 5 months to reach $1 billion in TVL, and then another 5 months to go back from $1 billion back to 150.
I think they just used it to fund their Flying Tulip development.
Perhaps.
So the Flying Tulip bit.
I think one thing that we're seeing this cycle is there's a clear distinction between what is value generating, as in what protocol is actually generating useful value. Because I think Andre also got that wrong, because he's also a player of the last cycle, right? And he also got that bit wrong, where he thought that, you know what, it's going to be the usual gimmick, which is going to be TVL. Nobody gives a shit about TVL, right? Because if you look at it, although ETH TVL is probably at its record lowest right now, but TVL is also a function of price, right?
Yes.
It's not, because the asset locked in the system does not have any sort of value. I mean, you could have very little TVL locked, but you could be processing a lot of transactions, right?
Yes.
So that's what it means. Like if you look at any sort of TradFi institution, you need not have TVL locked in, but you could be processing a bunch of transactions. I think transaction and chain revenue is a metric that people are looking at, or rather the value that you're sort of moving through the ecosystem. And I think that's what he got wrong. and but again, that does not mean crap tokens don't do well. I think, but they are casino category tokens. They won't consistently do well. They'll probably
they will have a day or two of a pump, and
they focus
They'll be
tonic.
1 week wonders.
Yeah. The problem is that this whole chain was focused primarily on all the shit coins, right? कि जो छोटे,
Exactly.
and
That's
they
what he
didn't.
thought. That's what he thought that's going to work from last cycle, but it's not working.
Did not have anything of value. And if इस cycle में आपने कुछ देखा है कि shit coins haven't like really worked like बीच में थोड़े बहुत एक दो pumps आएंगे उनके, but overall जो है तेरे large caps ही चल रहे हैं. So large caps, Dino coins, यही काम कर रहे हैं. Yeah, so with like these big treasuries getting big partnerships, like actually doing some real world stuff, so वही चल रहे हैं.
Correct.
जो shit coins है तेरे की ये छोटे मोटे DeFi वाले कि यहाँ से इसको stake कर उसको stake कर, वो सब नहीं चल रहा है. जो तेरा आवे वावे है ये सब है, तो कोई क्यों कुछ और यूज करेगा.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And ये जो Flying Tulip का raise था, so they've raised 200 million in private seed and planning for additional 800 million in public sale.
Who the fuck is going to give them that money?
Is the private seed like जो raise किया उन्होंने, is that data on chain, like I mean जहाँ से उन्होंने पैसा raise किया है? It may not, they can just say it, right, कि हमने 200 million raise किया.
I mean there's no credibility to it.
Is there anyone backing them? Like, is there any big like fund or something that has come out and said that?
So.
Yeah.
Not that I've heard of. Not that I've heard of.
Yeah. Kraken just secured 800 million in new funding and is now valued at about 20 billion. Do you think it's the valuation just makes sense? $20 billion for Kraken. I mean, are they like that big in the US? Most of it, I'm guessing कि Coinbase के पास होगा. Biggest market share would be with Coinbase. Globally भी इनके पास कोई है नहीं ऐसा. इस valuation पे कैसे raise कर पा रहे हैं? Maybe their holdings, maybe their BTC holdings, like उनके Kraken.
Because Kraken is Kraken is one of those exchanges that 2011 से है, right? So they and Coinbase have been there since like 2011. So as of now, I'm sure that their holdings, like you said, has been increasing substantially over time. So based on that, could be.
I have a difference of view here. I don't think when you're sort of valuing enterprises, you're looking at balance sheet valuation, because I don't think that's the right metric to probably, or that's not what sort of VCs will look at or private equity will look at when they're sort of investing in Kraken. I think what they're going to look at is what is the potential, because Coinbase has set a benchmark, right? And the Coinbase current public market valuation is the benchmark for an exchange that's registered in the US, right? And the growth potential for the crypto, I think that's an Excel sheet metric, which is probably a PPT vanity metric, which is something that Coinbase is also using. So the same metric can be used by a Kraken as well, and then they can say that, you know what, if Coinbase can be valued at this, why can't we be valued at this? And as a private equity investor or a venture capital investor, your exit is going to be a public market listing, right? So if they're raising this much amount of money, this would be my bet. I think Kraken is going to go for a public market listing very, very soon.
Yeah.
For example,
yes.
Because this is.
नहीं तो exit कैसे करेंगे?
Yeah, this is the kind of money that you raise when you're prepping up for IPO. Otherwise, you can't raise this much amount of money into an illiquid company. It doesn't make sense. So this clearly goes to show that. Like, for example, I was reading a couple of days back that Tether is looking to raise funds at a $500 billion valuation, right?
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, so that the single message that I got from that is something that they're not telling us is they're going for a public market listing.
Yeah.
Right, and they're going to use those funds to probably, because now that the Genius Act is also in place, they can sort of legitimately register in the US and function in the US, and they don't mind being regulated because they're one of the largest holders of US treasuries anyway. They're very well regulated. So this is another signal that tells me that Kraken is going for a listing. The same metric that I used, or the same litmus test that I used to sort of unravel what Tether is planning on doing. So both of these companies are going for public market listings. They'll be NASDAQ listings for sure in the next 12 months.
Got it. So yeah, this is why I say we need Moonberg. Bloomberg intelligence, like Bitcoin will go to 10K. It can go to 10K.
Of course.
Bloomberg is saying. So, I mean, these guys
It's
have
like
no
Cathy
They are
idea.
Wood
reading
telling
the
Tom.
same metric we discussed yesterday.
Yeah.
It's like
So,
Cathy Wood telling Tom Lee that $5,000 worth of BTC is, and Tom Lee telling Cathy Wood that people should invest 1% of their portfolio at $5,000 BTC. Cathy Wood said, "Are you mad?
yeah.
That's crazy." Yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, इसलिए मैं बोलता हूँ कि मूनबर्ग की अपने को तैयारी करनी चाहिए. Hopefully, this is like the stepping stone to
yeah,
that.
perhaps.
Yeah. Uh, Talking about so there's this article on Cointelegraph that is suggesting that Sol has hit its bottom, like you said, realist. कि a lot of the altcoins have stabilized, sort of. They're not like really crashing down, like past 2-3 दिन में, and BTC के move से. So let's just segue this into like a broader altcoin sort of discussion.
Yeah,
कि what do you guys, first of all, the future of altcoins, right? Because इस market में everyone is now holding altcoins. You saw that like पूरा जो retail है, they उन्होंने पूरा cycle निकाल दिया बस एक altcoin के pump के weight का. So
Hmm.
yeah.
what do you guys think about altcoins? Where is it headed? Let's start with Daddy आज कि भाई altcoin
Hmm.
trader है. Altcoins का क्या scene लग रहा है तेरे को?
यार मेरे हिसाब से आई थिंक we've discussed this earlier also कि altcoins का I know people have been waiting for an altcoin season and they're frustrated that they haven't gotten it as yet. You know, they've seen highs on BTC, they've seen highs on ETH, not price discoveries highs, but they've seen good highs on ETH, and altcoins have sort of you know, they've been delayed, right? They haven't really moved as we expected. But that doesn't mean, and I still believe that doesn't mean कि altcoin rally नहीं आएगा, right? I think we were discussing this a couple of days ago. Now you and I, where we were talking about where that BTC correction and BTC dominance and how that correlates to altcoin sort of moving up, right? And um, we know that altcoins haven't hit their bottom as yet. We know that, like, you know, for us to really think that altcoins should move up, they need to sort of go and near to almost 10% or 5% of the valuation as to what they reached on the 10th of October, right? Those are the wicks that we need to see for them to sort of close and then sort of move back up. But that doesn't mean that all altcoins are going to go there, and that doesn't mean that all altcoins are going to pump from there also. You have to understand that the market's changed. Like we're discussing now, okay, there are a lot of shitcoins there that that are sort of really pump and dump. They're going to pump maybe one day in like 3 months, and people are going to say, like, you see, ye wala maine bola tha ki ye pump karega, and you know they're going to bet on those. I think the markets moved completely to more mature tokens when we talk about altcoins. Matured, as in we call them the Dino coins. So you have let's say ETH being the leader over there. You have Solana, you have XRP, you have Cardano. I'm looking at XMR also right now. You're right. I mean, you're seeing Zcash. I don't know if that is a cabal based pump or not, but I mean these are still considered as Dino coins, right? And you have ICP, you have tokens like these, so that they could eventually move to significant values you know, much sooner. It doesn't mean that's going to happen now. I mean, we are all waiting for that altcoin rally to happen. We are expecting it maybe in next year first quarter, maybe second quarter, we don't know, let's see. But I think there is a massive potential there for the altcoin markets. I'm betting personally on XRP. Although yesterday I saw this video which was very interesting, and it sort of made me think, made me double think to the XRP investment, because I saw this video of Brad where he was explaining how XRP and Ripple sort of, you know, work together. And it was very clear that XRP doesn't really affect Ripple. XRP is just something that they have there on their side sort of balance sheets to make them look good. You know, it does the Ripple move and take over Swift does not really affect the XRP price. He was very clear in that video about it. So that is something that was sort of very surprising for me. And at the same time, yesterday I saw their ex CTO David, what's his name? He posted a tweet about, you know, taking XRP more towards DeFi space and sort of building a staking mechanism onto the XRP and stuff like that. So I don't know how that's going to move. So Besides that, I think ICP can do good. I think XMR Monero has the potential to move to good. I know in terms of how government institutionalization, the CBDCs coming into play, they are like this privacy digital cash sort of protocol. So they could do well. Then so yeah.
Yeah. नहीं इधर एक बात तो we have this consensus amongst us like बहुत like majority time तो नहीं रहती है, हम सब अलग अलग point of view पे रहते हैं, पर एक consensus तो हम सब में है कि I'm guessing कि at least ये है कि जितने भी ये shit coins हैं जो anything lower than say I think 500 million FDV or maybe a billion FDV, ये वाला पूरा market is like really in trouble, right? कि it may or may not pick up, और जो ये existing वाले at least जो हैं इसमें से बहुत कम ही survive करेंगे. Then it might so happen कि एक कोई नया पूरा chunk आ जाए ये पूरे market में, but अभी वो आते हुए दिख नहीं रहा.
I
जो
think
भी
वो junk already are. We're just not noticing them. It's all these AI and privacy narrative tokens, right? That is the junk that is coming there. And it's sort of replacing these $500 billion market cap. I mean,
जैसे
you
DeFi
look at
protocols हैं like you know like जो हम जैसे देख रहे थे जैसे लास्ट साइकिल में तो छोटे छोटे DeFi protocols ये कर लो वो कर इधर you know
yeah.
all
So
these
now
like
the narrative is shifting to AI and privacy, and you have a lot of these AI and privacy tokens coming in, and in the last couple of weeks, and I don't know if they are authentically moving up on their own, but and we know that they are not. But these are the narratives that are actually getting pushed, and I think wo jab altcoin चढ़ती है ना, that point in time, people are not looking at narrative, people are not looking at whether the pump is fake or original. They're just looking at tokens that are moving, right? We've seen like really shit tokens move really crazy when the market is at it's going at towards its peak. So I think the next narrative should be the AI and privacy tokens. They could do well. So you have a lot of other tokens on, especially these Binance Alpha projects. There shit ton of them that might do well. There are these tokens like Aster has great potential. I mean, it's a Binance token. It's shitting at said valuations right now. It could do really well if the market moves. I don't know. Let's see.
yeah I sort of little bit disagree with that. I think ये पूरी मार्केट ही खत्म हो जाएगी. Aster Vastel is still Binance backed. ये जो big groups के से backed हैं वो still they might stick around. जो छोटा वाली जो पूरी market है it might end. Really, I wanted to ask you कि अभी भी जैसे markets में like you know there are all these like launch pads and or for like these smaller sort of protocols, right? And they're working. लोग उन पे जाके launch भी कर रहे हैं. तो if there is first of all, do you think that this whole segment will continue in like the altcoin space, जो tier 2 and tier 3 वाले हैं? And then what will if suppose it doesn't sort of work, right? What will happen to all of these launch pads and where will they move?
So I think a lot of these launch pads are actually I think the current cycle has given most of them a run for their money, and they have no idea what they're doing, right? Some are good, some are sensible, but I would say 99.9% of them are crap, and they have no idea what they're doing, right? Again, they are very, very similar to, like we've discussed, right? The so-called institutions from last cycle, they weren't really institutions, right? They were a bunch of dudes who lucked into a lot of money. I think that's the same thing with the launchpads from today. They have no idea what they're doing. They're going through rebrandings, and they're just trying to sort of figure out ways of extracting value from end users, right? Either they're extracting value from the founders of the protocol, and because they're extracting or giving these founders shitty deals, the founders have no other choice but to extract value from end retail. And in a way, the entire you can't get the flywheel going, because for the flywheel to go, you needed a very concentrated market, something that Sadhguru ends up saying that now that we have 16, 20 million tokens, all that liquidity is not concentrated, so that flywheel has stopped functioning. So to the first part of your question, what happens to these launchpads? I think most of them shut down. Most of them have already shut down. They probably have their websites running, they probably have their contracts running, but no one's putting in money, right? Because why should somebody put in money? Why would they lose? Like, to be honest, someone's better off buying something else. Like I am a big proponent of, and I think I sort of Narkundi and I are on the same page when it comes to this point of view, is that back actual value. Like, for example, if you take an Aave, right, And Aave today, its entire market cap today is maybe like $3 billion. The total value locked inside Aave across all chains is $30 billion.
Yeah.
So imagine, right? You're
Yes.
looking at a protocol which is securing assets for $30 billion, is valued only at $3 billion.
$3 billion.
Show me this valuation arbitrage somewhere. TradFi does not have this, right? Your valuation will always exceed your balance sheet, right?
By a
we were
lot.
just talking about balance sheet, right? Kraken today is raising 800 million at $20 billion. How much TVL do they have locked in that protocol, right? It must be far lesser than the valuation that they're commanding, right? For example, a Tether today is raising funds at $500 billion. The overall value of Tether today, as in the balance sheet of Tether, is $183 billion. So they are effectively commanding a 2.5x valuation of their actual balance sheet. So I think someone is better off buying an Aave today rather than gamble their money on any launchpad token, right? It doesn't make sense. And what happens to the altcoins which are getting flushed out or that are getting produced from these sections? I think, like I mentioned, the casino market, it's been well established in this cycle that the casino market exists, right? But is the casino market going to be as large and sustainable as the previous cycles? I don't think so. So we'll have these casino tokens doing these short-term pumps. Some will make money, some will lose money. It's going to be like the casino, right? It's not going to be, you can't call it investing. Neither can you call it trading, because you can only trade an asset which is serious, or which at least has a predictable chart, right? I wouldn't call it predictable, but a probabilistic chart, right? These tokens, these shitcoins don't have any probabilistic charts, so they'll probably go down the drain. My view on the altcoin market is that value will soon take over. I somehow feel as some of these dino coins are also worthless, right? And I think people are going to soon realize, because see, when we, and a lot of these dino coins are holding their market caps, right?
Yeah.
And why are they holding their market caps? Is because people just believe that they should hold value, right?
Yeah.
Imagine all those holders from previous cycle who probably bought at peaks end up dumping. They won't hold their value anymore, because we know for a fact, like if we pick up a token like XRP, we know for a fact that every month there are roughly about $1 billion worth of unlocks which keep happening. On a metric side, they end up locking tokens, but they end up selling this $1 billion in the open market. And who's buying? The people, DCA buyers are buying, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of feel that we might see, this is a big ask, but and a big hope that we might see some liquidity coming out of dino coins and moving into, it could be dino or new age tokens that are producing value. Like for example, a Hyperliquid is in top 50 CMC, even though it launched this cycle. So we probably see value flocking to these tokens. So we will have a section which will be, which is going to be crypto casino, which is going to see these short-term pumps and these tokens moving up and down. And there is a separate market for that. But I think the major alt rally, which I do feel is going to come, because you must realize today crypto is hated not because crypto does not have the fundamentals. Like I keep saying, fundamentals have never aligned better for crypto in the past 15 years of its existence than it does today, right? Institutional adoption is not a joke. It's actually happening, right? Like I mentioned, like today we were discussing the fear and greed index. Like this is probably the second time that it's happening from the FTX crash.
Yeah.
Fundamentals versus the FTX crash versus today's 10x higher, right?
Yeah.
So there is a clear dissonance between fundamentals and price realization today, and price will eventually catch up and exceed fundamentals. The private markets are seeing this, which is why they're willing to invest X amount in a Tether at a certain valuation and X amount in a Kraken at a certain valuation. It is soon going to reflect in the public markets as well. That is the valuation arbitrage that you need to ideally look for. So I kind of feel the altcoin market today, or crypto, is not sexy today, not because the fundamentals are not aligned. It's just because AI happens to be sexier, which is, so NVIDIAs of the world are sucking out liquidity, which would have found its way in crypto. That is the only thing, nothing else. Not because, and obviously the doomsday callers today are going to say XYZ reason why crypto is not pumping, or this indicator is showing this, that indicator is showing that. That's not what's happening. It's just because AI is sexier, simple as that. right? The day AI stops becoming sexy, this money is going to find its way into the next alternative asset class, which is crypto, right? When that is going to happen, nobody knows. I'm not in the camp that will say that this indicator will tell me when AI is not going to become sexy and money will flow into crypto. I don't think any indicator can point that out. So I kind of feel that broad-based altcoin rally is going to happen, but we are going to see that and all of us who remember the 2021 cycle, that happened because there were only a limited set of tokens out there, right? There were probably only 8.5, 10,000 tokens available. I still feel there are only about 1,000 to 2,000, maybe 5,000 tokens which are actually producing value.
Yes,
we will still see that level of altcoin rally again. The only thing is, it is only going to be concentrated to the tokens.
In those
the same
tokens.
set of 5 to
Yes.
8,000 tokens
exactly.
will actually producing value. That's it. And the rest will survive, but they will be charged like pumps and dumps. So the crypto casino is live and thriving, and which is why a Binance today has launched a 4 meme as well, because they know that the token production is going to be booming. There is a market for those, because like I said, even though the stock markets exist, casinos also exist. If the stock markets are rising, casinos are also churning out a lot of volume. So that section is going to be there. Today we are at 20 million tokens. We will soon be at 100 million tokens in the next 2 years, right? Or in the next 5 years. But the altcoin rally is always going to be concentrated to the set of this, maybe like this 3 to 4,000 or 3 to 6,000 tokens. And we could probably see in the next altcoin rally, which is inevitable. Like I said, it is just that AI happens to be sexier right now, which is why that money is not flowing in. We could probably see a nice shuffle of the top 250 page of CMC as well, and new entrants will come in, old entrants will go out, because people, I kind of feel, something that they've learned from this cycle, and Hyperliquid has been probably the pallbearer of it. You need to produce value.
Absolutely.
Simple as that. Like, for example, an avalanche. You look at an avalanche, you look at a story, you look at a Cardano, right? All of these buggers are sitting at multi-billion-dollar valuations. They've raised $500 million of money. Some have raised $100 million. They produce zero. Their chain revenue is zero. Their TVL is only their tokens locked in their staking contracts. So all of these are junk. I think we will see a lot of reshuffling. And the altcoin market could be fueled by old people suddenly realizing, let's take money out of maybe an avalanche, which is not going anywhere, and let me put that money into a Hyperliquid, which is actually, so we'll see a lot of liquidity coming once this rotation happens, not from outside money coming in, but inside money, people who are just sort of hodling, right? They will soon figure out that it's time to rotate into something better. That's what I feel.
नरकुंडी, तेरे थॉट्स बता दे, कैसे क्रैश करेगा तू ऑल्टकॉइन मार्केट, या चढ़ाएगा या गिराएगा? तू बता दे आज.
Last time you came in, you dropped the altcoin market, bro. तो आज बता क्या करेगा?
तू बता दे कि तू कौन, एक तो तू सीएमसी का टॉप 250 वाला निकाल ले पेज, और उसमें से तू हैंड पिक सम टोकन्स की क्या तू क्या खरीदना चाहता है जो हम नहीं खरीदे. But seriously, what are your thoughts on the altcoin market, altcoin season?
Okay. Episode 16, we will link the reference, but we discussed about this. If you think there hasn't been a rally in alts, you're mistaken. And again, it's just selective time horizon. We looked at how much Solana has pumped from 2022 peak, 2022 November se ab tak. It's gone from 10 till 295. XRP went from 30 cents till 3.4. So liquidity is getting concentrated. It's just that CT and a lot of us have been focused on the micro caps because we were expecting a secular rally, how we discussed last time.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. And there's also points that we discussed, okay, how many million tokens are there? Like daily 44,000 new tokens are coming in. And we've moved from, white paper raise to, launchpad raise to testnet raise to mainnet. Now it's like, okay, revenue generation and buyback. And still, pump funds, it's still losing value, even though 98% of the daily revenue is going back into buyback. So holding token is going to be much harder. But I also think it's much needed that the liquidity goes where value gets created. And short term, I would not touch. And even we discussed about like how AI and privacy meta is there. I think these are all meta of the week, flavor of the week, or something you want to call it. It keeps shifting every few weeks. So if you think that like how Realist said, it's not even trading at this point. All these new metas are just going to be the new trenches, which was previously reserved for meme coins. So if you want to go there, cool, but acknowledge that the 10x or the 100x that you're thinking you will make over there is also the risk that you run of burning everything and watching dino coins, or like boring ones, as we call them in alts, them climbing slowly.
तो कौब आप बताएं
That's
कि
my
तो सोशल सेंटिमेंट में क्या देख रहा है कि मतलब तो वन ऑफ द रीजंस एंड इवन बेंजामिन कोवन इस बारे में बात करता है काफी कि वन ऑफ द रीजंस दैट व्हाई पीपल don't consider this कि they're still waiting for a bull season and not
Yeah.
seeing what the market is for it is that एक तो यूफोरिया वाला फेज नहीं आया राइट कि जो यूफोरिया फेज आया था लास्ट साइकिल में कि लोग पागल हो रहे थे एकदम चीजें भग रही थी एक वो नहीं आया दूसरा उनके टोकन्स नहीं भागे जो वो लेके बैठे थे
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
I saw a tweet which said like being early is not the same as being right.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
And if you see कि BTC already 16K से हाँ 126K गया है ETH आपका 1300 से क्रैश करके अभी 5000 तक गया है एंड स्टिल होल्डिंग द 3K रेंज सो देयर इज लाइक अ more than good chance कि it is going to probably go to a new all time high right तो बट क्योंकि आप जो टोकन होल्ड करके बैठे थे सारे शिट कॉइन्स वो चले नहीं आप जो मीम टोकन्स बैठ के फार्ट कॉइन वॉट कॉइन खरीद के आप बैठे थे वो इतने नहीं चले तो इसलिए आप बेसिकली नहीं लग नहीं रहा कि कोई बुल सीजन है ये एंड दैट इज व्हाई पीपल कीप people keep buying every dip that sort of happens in alts for it to then unlock a new bottom and then lose money and then they're like अरे अब तो यही bottom है तो those altcoins have
To
been
be
sort of
honest,
bleeding.
also it's not just that; it's also the way people are trading altcoins. I mean, pehle, there was a more focus on buying spots and sort of holding and then making money
Yeah.
on them, and now people have sort of moved towards leverage trading and putting themselves into high leverage trades, risky trades, and honestly, I mean, you take a 10x leverage, 10% down, your portfolio is gone.
इस साइकिल में मैंने बहुत सारी चीजें देखी इवन लाइक व्हेन सोनिक वाज हॉट राइट इनिशियली उस पे जितने वो थे क्या बोलते हैं प्रोटोकॉल्स थे जैसे एग्स वेग्स और ये सब इट वाज ऑल जस्ट लाइक वेरी गिमिकी राइट देयर वाज
Ponzi's,
नो
bro, Ponzi's.
these and gimmickies so there was not any talk of delivering any kind of real value that's what I'm saying anyways
Yeah.
It's all in hindsight, but because like Pump Baby, they were saying that okay, we're going to take over the market share of Twitch. Is it happening right now? No, but now it's like you're like, oh wow, itne sare streamers are gaye and like
yeah, but as a protocol, Pump actually did well, right? It was one of the few revenue generating profit making protocols in this space, which is like very, very rare. Sort of, I don't know ki in the past like 3 years how many protocols have actually generated some profit. चल revenue तो फिर भी लोग generate कर लेते हैं. Profit कौन generate कर रहा है?
पहले तो testnet
And
पे
that's
था
the sad
कि पहले
part. I mean,
white
there are
paper
protocols that are actually doing really well, who are delivering, who are actually, giving what they actually said they would, and they are not really generating revenue. I mean, look at Gala. I mean, we've talked about this multiple times over and over. I mean, those guys actually delivered. They gave out everything, and still they are not really performing. Right?
But
And they're not.
their token is not performing, but as a protocol, they're performing. यार पूरा sci-fi
But
show
are they
release करके
making
उन्होंने
profits?
on-chain, हाँ?
Bro, but are they making
Obviously,
profits? We don't know.
no. They're not making profits.
Right,
For sure,
exactly,
they're
that's
not.
what I'm saying, right? I mean, yes, just yesterday we saw the news of that protocol that went bad, that ended up closing after what 11, 12 years.
Ban. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Right? I mean, they've been there, they delivered, radar, right? And they delivered, and they were like something that everybody was using. Kya hua? I mean, it's very difficult to make profits in crypto, to be honest.
I guess. I mean, that is the thing, but that's changing too. You will see.
Yeah, with the institutional adoption,
only
it should.
Only all those altcoins that actually generate value, revenue, profit. These were the ones that will survive and then thrive. ठीक है भाई
Yeah,
आज
to be honest, I also think one thing. All these protocols who were giving values and who were building in maybe in the last cycle, I think they were too too new for their time, right? I think you will see some sort of those kind of protocols coming back, maybe 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line when crypto becomes a lot more mainstream. So
ठीक है on that note let's end today please like share subscribe नरकुंडी एक लिस्ट डालेगा कि आपको क्या क्या खरीदना है वो मत खरीदना please
Or you don't get to see our exclusive content. So, you know.
yeah our exclusive content you know like just सब्सक्रिप्शन लेना पड़ेगा आपको $1000 का वो देखेंगे
of what not to do.
of what not
Correct.
to do ठीक है all right
All right. See you guys.
adios guys please like
See
share
you guys.
subscribe and let us know okay
All right.
Bye.
Bye.